Alright, why did I buy a camera for $2,000 that is less capable than the ones I already have? I shoot Sony professionally. So why did I buy the Fuji X E5? The answer may not surprise you actually, probably, because most people that are looking into that camera know its limitations on the technical end. So let me tell you my experience with it coming from a Sony professional line for weddings and corporate and all kinds of stuff. So I own the FX3 and the A7 IV from Sony, and I love those cameras. They are technically superior in every way. The autofocus, the ergonomics, the dual card slot, dynamic range, the video features in both of those cameras compared to the Fuji X E5, it's not a comparison really. That is a professional line. The Fuji X E5 is not really even meant to compete with that line. Why would I choose to still buy that for $2,000 versus, for example, the Nikon ZR that actually has the red sensor that has so many insane features and for the same price for about $2,000? I don't know. You tell me. I'm kidding, I'm gonna tell you, obviously. That's what the whole video is about. I still trust my Sony lineup for professional work. So if I'm going to a wedding or I'm shooting a commercial, it's still going to be my Sony lineup because I need to know that at the minimum, I have 2 cards in the camera. So if one of those SD cards crooks, I still have a backup. That's for one. 2, the autofocus. I need to make sure that I'm capturing these moments perfectly in focus. No commercial shoot is going to be like, oh yeah, no, it's okay. It's slightly out of focus, but who cares? No, the camera needs to nail it every time. You need to have the confidence that that's going to happen. But when I walk out of my house, I find myself reaching for the Fuji. If I'm going on a long extended trip, I'd probably grab both the A7 IV and the Fuji X E5. If I'm going around town or going out to dinner or taking the kids out, it's inconspicuous if I'm going out to dinner and I don't want people to be staring at me taking photos of my food or something, which I don't really do. I love it. I love it. It doesn't feel like it's a piece of luggage or a major instrument that you're holding and you're taking somewhere. Plus, I honestly, and don't do this, I like taking pictures sometimes when I'm driving. Sometimes when I see something cool out the window and I'm with the kids and I don't want to stop and pull over or something, I suggest you do. But it's like you grab it, one-handed, boom, boom, take a couple of shots of the mountain that you're driving by or something. Or even if you want it to stop, you just grab it and go out and click it a couple times and you're good to go. I find that it's really easy to carry in the car. Usually when I'm sitting with my wife in the other seat, I hand her my giant A7 IV with the 28-75. It's a big camera. She's holding it. I feel like she's about to drop it all the time. But handing her this, she even said, hey, this is really nice to actually hold. It's small, it's nice. I don't feel like I have a baby in my lap. So what have we learned so far? It is not the size of a baby, but it's still your baby. I shoot everything from weddings to commercial shoots, ads, social media content for businesses, restaurants, and I do videography and photography. The FX3 mainly for videography and the A7 IV for photography. I have been re-inspired by Fuji, whether it's the color science that they have or the way their cameras look and feel. They tickle your artistic senses, if you will. I hear this a lot from Fuji users, that the Fuji system is just nostalgic, it's artistic, it makes them want to go out and shoot. And that's really what a camera is supposed to do. And you should force your camera to go out and shoot as well. When you pick up your Sony, you're immediately thinking deliverables, redundancies, battery life. But when you pick up the Fuji, you're thinking, how do I make art? Where is the shot? Sometimes the best photographs that you've ever taken are random, everyday life. And this is why I love street photography in general. You're capturing the world as it is, as it's happening in that moment. It is incredible what you actually end up capturing a lot of the times. The stories come. From my experience also, they usually come towards the end of the shoot. I'm not sure why, but usually that last 15-20 minutes of your shoot of the day are the best shots. The camera's greatest advantage is not always on a spec sheet. It is the way it changes your relationship with photography. The FX3 makes me feel like I need to be billing someone, but the Fuji makes me wanna take a walk. Size matters. And in this case, in the opposite direction, I guess, a smaller camera just creates less friction. You don't debate if you should take it. It is worth the trouble. You throw it into a small bag and here you go. It also makes people behave differently around it. They're more natural. They don't feel like they're under a major lens when you're holding this massive thing with a big lens in their face. It makes you basically get shots that you would never get if you had grabbed that big, massive system that you have. And by no means I'm not talking smack about the Sony and its size. The physical controls on the Fuji that I love make you feel like you're a part of the process of shooting that photograph. It reminds you of the back in the day film where you're making sure your exposures are correct, you have the right film stock, and you're a part of the photo, not just behind a camera. Especially also shooting with HEIF or JPEG profile baked in, it also makes you want to expose correctly for that profile, so you make sure that the photo is actually good coming out of camera, and it's a bit of a challenge, and it makes you view photography a little bit differently. I feel like the Fuji X5 fits perfectly in between the phone camera that you have and your professional system. It's right in the middle. You don't want to hold your phone to take the photo because you feel like, it's not going to do the scene justice. But you also don't want to go and grab your big system and big lens and snap that same shot. It's readily available, it's small, you grab it, you take that shot, and you still have that confidence that you're still getting a really beautiful shot with great colors. So when I started using the film simulations, I didn't find anything that blew my mind. Eventually, as I started tweaking it, as I started looking into profiles that people are creating, I started to see the point. I would say 80% of the time when I'm shooting my X E5, I'm shooting with specific film simulations. I snap like 500 to 1,000 photos on a good photography day. Coming back and dumping all this footage on top of my professional work and all the other galleries that I have to get out there, it can get pretty crazy. The fact that I could go out and shoot something that has amazing resolution, beautiful colors, much more useful than I ever thought it would be. You still can shoot both the RAW and the JPEG at the same time, or HEIF, which I prefer because it has a little bit more color depth and ability to edit. So you can even edit the JPEG or HEIF, but if you want more latitude in the way you edit, it's definitely the RAW. So shoot both, and if you want to edit for printing or something else, or get even more out of your photos, you have the RAW. This is a crop sensor camera, which is basically unlike the A7 IV or the FX3, which are full frame. Full frame is based on a 35mm film stock back in the day. It's a bigger sensor than the 1.5 times cropped in. If you wanted a 35mm, you would get the 23mm lens, which would be the equivalent of the 35mm in a full frame. And this is what I actually have living on my camera right now. It's great outdoors. It still shows you a lot of the view around you and what's happening in the scene. And it also is good enough for subjects, people, great street photography, focal length. It forces me to move around to get the shot. It forces me to, again, be a part of that process of photography instead of, standing in one spot and zooming in, zooming out. It removes the decision fatigue. With a zoom lens, I feel like I take a shot and then I zoom in a little bit and take a shot, the same shot, and then I'll zoom in more and I'll take the same shot. So I'll have like so many different choices of the same freaking scene just because I want to see what it looks like on a different focal length. And then you're just like done with like, I don't know which one looks good. They all look good. Because they all look good. Because I'm that good. No, but seriously, like it's just a lot. So having just the one focal length, you're stuck with that. So you're forcing yourself to move. Where the Sony is unquestionably better is going to obviously be in the autofocus, in the redundancy, in the card, in the overheating or underheating. It doesn't overheat because it's a professional machine. The FX3 has built-in fans, for example, so you can shoot for like 5 hours of video, 4K. This can overheat. In fact, about a half hour into shooting on the Boulevard photography gave me an overheat sign. It didn't shut off or anything, which is great. I shot for another hour probably after that. But you do not want that to happen to you if you're on a professional shoot. Shooting a wedding out in the desert in the Valley of Fire or something. Yeah, it is good to have a backup always. You never know when that happens. If something can happen, it will happen. So it's just a matter of time. The Fuji X E5 isn't perfect. I discussed a couple of strange things, and I'll link it over here in my 30-day hands-on experience. The screen latching situation is a little strange. The other thing obviously is the grip. I found it a little hard to grab and hold without feeling like you're about to drop it. I don't like using straps. I've never been into using straps unless I'm doing a professional shoot where I have my double, you know, leather strap thing going on with 2 cameras. Sound a little strange there, but I usually like to hold it just like this. I almost dropped it. Did you see that? I like to hold it with the two finger hold just down by my side. So who is this camera for? I would say this is for any professional photographer that wants a personal camera. If you're a traveler that you love taking, you know, photographs on the road, or you travel a lot and you want something small with a medium cost, this is a great camera for you. If you want that, you know, X100 style body and form factor and beautiful looks, but you don't want to pay a lot of money for an older camera and potentially not even find it. And not to mention with the X100 series is that you are limited to that 35 equivalent focal length only, where the X E5 is an interchangeable lens system. Anybody that wants to use the film simulations from Fuji, the X E5 is an amazing camera for that. Who is this camera not for? Anyone that thinks that this camera is going to be their only professional camera that they use. Somebody that is shooting a lot of video content and wants a system that is very, very powerful. Somebody that wants good ergonomics for professional shooting. This is probably not the system. You will probably drop it if you're not using a strap. As I mentioned in the other video, it is not necessarily a one-handed shooter. Not one time, I believe, I felt like I was gonna drop my A7 IV when I was grabbing it and running around town. It always felt secure in my hand. Where this one, even though I keep my attention on it, I feel like it might drop. That's why I use that little strap for my wrist, so just in case. So in conclusion, the Sony will always remain my professional cameras for now. The Fuji will remain my personal use camera that I just love taking everywhere. It reminds me that not every shoot should be a production. Photography can just be walking around town and finding a beautiful thing and capturing it in the moment. Do you separate the professional cameras and systems that you have from your personal, or do you use both for both, or one for both? Let me know how you do these things. And if you want to see a little bit more of a different review of this camera after 30 days of using it in the real world, check out my other video that is either linked in the bottom or the top. I don't know, I'm new to YouTube. Tell me what you think. Which side of my face is better, the right side or the left side? I'm just confused those two. Don't subscribe if you do not want to, and like the video if you like it. Thank you. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments and I will definitely respond to all of you. My name is Shadi Apsi. I am the owner of Moonlight and Honey Productions. I'm starting these videos reviewing some of the stuff that I've been using for a while now in my professional business as a photographer and a videographer. I shoot everything from weddings to commercials to social media for businesses to corporate events. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you.